most brilliant of Queensland victories of the Carnival, and that's a good one for you, Tony. That's a big one. Antino won the Newman Cup.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Final Gallop, episode 388, proudly supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. Today we'll preview our runners for the big ANZAC Day Raceday at Eagle Farm on Saturday. Tony, good morning. It's a big day on Saturday with plenty of race meetings on and the Winter Carnival prospects emerging, as well as the ANZAC commemoration, certainly one of the more memorable days on the calendar for Australia. Yeah,
good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. It is a big weekend for many reasons. Obviously, ANZAC Day is the main reason. We get to appreciate all that our war veterans have done for us and are still doing for us. So it's an important weekend on the calendar. It's great to see racing really embracing ANZAC weekend, with a lot of the clubs giving free entry to all our retired war vets or service personnel, which I think is a fantastic thing, and we see it happens with the rugby league as well. So a great weekend ahead for sport. Hopefully we can get a few winners.
Sounds good. And just looking back at last Saturday, we had some solid performers, but none better than 10 Deep. Certainly a mare in form has registered her third win this preparation for us.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job. She raced like a mile would really suit her now, but we'll try and teeter into the silk stocking now, 3 weeks between runs. She's in good form. We really appreciate Lenny and obviously Perry Sambor owns her, sending that mare up to us. So she's doing a great job, and with a bit of luck, hopefully we can snare some much needed black type for her in 3 weeks' time.
Beautiful. And now looking ahead, we do have an open day event scheduled for Sunday, the 24th of May here at the Eagle Farm Stables. It'll be a wonderful chance to visit some of our stable stars who will be competing across the Queensland Carnival, including Antino, Transatlantic, and as well as a few yearlings we've secured this season. And there's still plenty of availability as well, Tony. It should be a big day and really good for our connections to see where all the magic happens here at the stables.
Yeah, pretty cool. We haven't done one for quite a while, so Andrew's a pretty driving force of the open day, but it is a pretty cool day. You can come in, look around the stables, see your horses, see some of the stars of the show during what is our prime time, really, during our Brisbane Winter Carnival. So normally the weather's fantastic. There'll be coffee carts, there'll be certain things on display here on the day, and it should be a really good morning. But it's a great chance for everyone to get here, all mingle with each other, have a look around the stables and see the stable stars.
And if you are keen to come along, please get in touch with the stable. There'll be an email address on the screen. It'll be 9:30 at the Eagle Farm Stables here on the 24th of May. And now, before we get into our preview, this week we also have a latest promotion from the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. The prize is a $200 voucher to the Crib Island Beach Club at the Brisbane Airport Hotels. To enter, head over to our Facebook group, look for this week's post and click on the link and enter your details. And the winner will be announced on next week's show. Now we'll get into our preview of the weekend at Eagle Farm. The rail goes out to the 3 metre position from the 1 metre position last week. Track is currently a soft 5, fine weather forecast ahead, but there is a couple of showers forecast possibly on race day. Tony, how do you think that track will play with the rail going to the 3?
Interesting. It played really good last week.
Fair.
It normally plays a little bit more off fence. Tenzing's our mate here today. He's saying g'day. He's a very friendly horse. It normally used to play a little bit more off fence. Yeah. I think it played really well last week. I think the team's done a great job here at the track. They put moisture on. It certainly held moisture for the first little bit of the program as well, and it raced well. We only got the one winner on the day, but it was a really competitive day's racing, and riders really had to respect that rail and ride true races. And I wouldn't deviate too much of what we saw last week. I think the track will play very, very similar, but similar weather. A little bit of rain if it is forecast. I don't think it'll change too much what the guys are doing with their watering. So I think I'd be looking at last week. I think we're going to get a carbon copy this week.
Very good. We'll get straight into it. So we'll start in race 1, the Fillies and Mares benchmark 78 handicap over 1,200 metres. We'll have 2 runners in this race. First of those we'll preview is Blue Spinel. Will carry 59.5 kilos. Angela Jones on board and jump from barrier 4. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $7.50 for the win, $2.50 for the place. She won 2 starts ago at this track and trip. She always races very honestly. Just got squeezed late last start just to miss the placings, but she's certainly going well. How do you think it sets up for her on Saturday?
I think it sets up well. Low draws are her friend. There's no doubt she should have been right there. I feel that boy on the winner decided to stop steering. So I think she should have finished much closer. She's racing well. She loves Eagle Farm. She loves low draws where you can just jump on the back of the speed and just get that right run. That's exactly what she'll get against that day. She's been up a while, but she's a mare in good form. She's an older mare, so there's no reason why she's not right there. She loves Eagle Farm. And being race one, this track, if it races similar to last week, will be absolutely perfect for her.
The next runner we'll preview is Savagery Vibe. Will carry 59.5 kilos. Martin Harley on board and jump from barrier 9. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $2.90 for the win, $1.45 for the place. She hasn't missed a placing in 6 runs this prep for us. Unfortunately, the bridesmaid in her past 3. How do you think it sets up for her just with that wideish barrier?
Yeah, I think not too bad. There looks to be enough sort of tempo in the race for mine. I think this is probably her best trip. Big track, 1200. You know, I'd love to have drawn a little bit lower. We can just camp up probably a touch closer, but we'll probably take our medicine from the draw. Marty will be mid to back with a bit of cover, and he'll ride the track well. He'll try and get through them as much as he can until he can expose her and give her plenty of clear air from the top of the straight. She'll hit the line really, really well. It'll just be how the race sets up for her in the mid stages. We want plenty of pressure on, and then she can find the line. But I think back in trip from that 1350 at Doom and back to the 1200 here on the big tracks, ideal for her. And you can see by the market, this is definitely the right grade for her. She's in good order this horse. She's certainly got one more good run in her.
Beautiful. The next race we'll preview is race 2. It is the Colts Geldings and Entires benchmark 78 handicap over 1200 metres. We'll have 2 runners in this race. First of those we'll preview is Bundella. Will carry 58 kilos after Chelsea Baker's 3 kilo claim. Drawn barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $6.50 for the win, $2.05 for the place. He's won 3 on the trot with 2 of them at this track and trip. We scratched him from last week to save him for this week. He got the nice low draw here, gets him really well after Chelsea's claim.
Yeah, he does. The claim's important. Low draw, he'll bounce, he'll be up on speed. Got no doubt the horse that won the midweek here the other day of the gear, and let's face the music. It looks to be your leader off a wide draw. It tore along the other day, but we'll be able to sit right on its hammer, make it a genuine race. He's a tough horse, he's fit, he's in good order. And I think with the claim, he just gets in this race so well placed. So, look, he's a must-have for top 3s, isn't he? He's such a consistent horse.
The next runner we'll preview is Daggers. Will carry 59 kilos. Tommy Berry will ride and jump from barrier 5. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $2.40 for the win, $1.28 for the place. Fast finishing second last start, first up over 1,000 metres. We'll appreciate the step up to 1,200 metres here as well.
Yeah, no doubt. The idea of the 1,000 was just to make sure he'd come off the bridle a bit and really attack the line, which he did. His sectionals were great. That was his first up run. He's trained on beautifully since then. He looks really, really well. He maps great here. I mean, you got Bundella, Let's Face the Music, and Bow Rumble. They're going to go along at a good gallop, particularly those 2 drawn wide, Bow Rumble and Let's Face the Music. I think Daggers lobs anywhere that second, third pair behind that speed, and any chink in their armours, he's going to be the one getting them down. He's a quality horse. I think Eagle Farm is the right track for him. Tommy Berry in a low draw. He's very well placed. So, look, I hate tipping against my old mate Bundella, but I think Daggers, look, he's very well placed here.
The next race we'll preview, it is race 3, the benchmark 85 handicap over 1,000 metres. We'll have up to 3 runners in this race. First of those we'll preview is Giggles. Will carry 59 kilos. Ben Thompson on board and jump from barrier 2. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $11 for the win, $3 for the place. She is first up for her preparation, always races well fresh. She had a nice trial over 1,000 metres a fortnight ago just to get her up to the mark here. How do you think it sets up for her first up on Saturday?
Yeah, I think pretty well. You know, for a 1,000, there's not a whole lot of out-and-out speed in this. So I think that low draw is important, particularly the way we saw that track race last week where it was quite true. So I think she can jump and find the back of the speed here quite well. 1,000 is probably a touch short of where her best trip is. I think when we get out to the 11, 1,200, that's when she's better suited. But she loves Eagle Farm. It's a track she races really, really well at. She's way over the odds, in my opinion. I think she gets a soft run behind the speed and she presents and runs well with improvement as we flow through this carnival.
The next runner we'll preview is Arisphere. Will carry 54.5 kilos with Emily Lang on board and jump from barrier 6. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $15 for the win, $3.60 for the place. She's also first up for her winter campaign after a really good trial win and an impressive jump out. Scratched her from last week's race just off a tricky draw. How do you think it sets up for her here on Saturday?
Well, I think she's drawn much better. Yes. I think she can jump and find a nice enough spot. We've got her into the provincials as well, which we'll see those fields come out later today. But the way that she's coming up as good as she has her previous couple of preps. And you know, Eagle Farm or Sunshine Coast Saturday, they're both her tracks. she gets a nice run here off this draw. She's a lovely run somewhere, in that second pair. Couldn't even be up on speed. She's quite quick. So she gets a nice enough run. It'll just be a matter whether we decide to go here or go to the sunny coast.
And the third of our runners we'll preview is Moulin Miss. We'll carry 53.5 kilos with Angela Jones on board and drawn barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $2.25 for the win, $1.28 for the place. She won by nearly 3 lengths last up when first up at this track and trip. She's certainly up in grade but down in weight. How do you think it sets up for her with that gun draw barrier 1?
Well, hopefully we see a pretty similar rinse and repeat of what we saw the other day. Like she absolutely shanghaied out the gates the other day, put herself straight in the winning position. The speed come on, which was Hearts or better or whatever it was the other day. It sort of got running in front of her. She was able to attack in behind, and then she just won as she liked in the straight. So you just can't see off barrier 1 why she doesn't get the same run. She should just fly the lids. Whatever speed comes, she'll be able to tuck in behind, and or she could lead if she wanted to. I think I had a bit of a query with her about Eagle Farm. I always sort of felt she might have been a bit better around Doomben, but the other day that totally expelled that theory. I thought she was great the other day. I've had a brilliant prep with her. She's come through that run well. We've given her enough time to get over that and to peak up again for this. And I think she's better than what she was the other day. And I know she's very short in the market, which has surprised me a touch. But if you look at her win the other day and the way she went, I can't see why she can't repeat that exact same race.
On top, she's on top. Out
yeah,
of the
definitely.
Three,
she goes on top, particularly off that low draw. I think that's always been important to her, drawing low, because she's got enough sort of gate speed, particularly the way she jumped the other day, to be able to utilise it. And I think that's important in a race like this. And like I said, I'm very we might have got a little bit of that track wrong last week. I think if we plan for it to be like last week, that low draw is vital to her.
The next race we'll preview, it is race 4. It's the benchmark 78 handicap over 1,600 metres. We will have exceed speed in this race. We'll carry 57.5 kilos. Ben Thompson on board and drawn barrier 11. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $26 for the win, $6.50 for the place. He's third up for his preparation, out to the mile. Been a little bit disappointing these past couple, but gets Ben Thompson back on board, who's won a couple of races on him, including over this same trip last preparation.
I thought his 1,200 metre run was okay. I thought his 1,350 run a couple of weeks ago was terrible. It was awful. But he did pull and got caught wide on a day where there was no advantage to be wide. So I've just whacked a tongue tie on him just to bring him back a little bit, if no other reason, just in case when he was pulling, he just wasn't controlling his breathing well, which stands to reason. I thought at the mile, if we can just switch him off, put him asleep midfield or back and watch him run on, he can run well. He's certainly got to improve, but as we saw yesterday, a horse like Chillaxing was dreadful second up the other day at Eagle Farm and all but won yesterday, got beat that far. So the improvement can come because the horse does look well and he's been working well. I've been very happy with him in his build up into the prep. So it wouldn't shock me to see a major improvement from him, and I think the slight gear change is a big positive.
We'll move on to race 5. It is the listed Calaway Gal for 2-year-old fillies over 1,200 metres. A race we've been lucky enough to win 3 times in the past with as a ladies' night out, Outback Barbie and Barbie's sister as well. So this year's edition we will have Boomelli. We'll carry 56.5 kilos with Ben Thompson on board and drawn barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $9 for the win, $2.80 for the place. She's a 2-time winner out of 4 runs already. She won the very important Tony Gollan Memorial over 1,000 metres at Toowoomba 2 starts ago. Just run down late over 1,200 metres. So how do you think it sets up for her on Saturday?
Well, I think she should be 2 from 2, to be honest. She, in the fitting, I think it was the other day up at Toowoomba as well, that big race up there on the Friday on King of the Mountain Day. Got over outside lead, jumped quick, got over outside lead, which probably surprised me in the first place. I thought she might have been back a pair, but she got into a lovely position outside lead. The leader just decided to not go around the corner and just take a right out to the centre, and the winners got up underneath, saved all the ground. So I thought there's no worries about her with the 1,200. She absolutely loved that. And I think Eagle Farm, the big track, will really suit her. So, I think she's over the odds, to be honest. I do respect the favour, Esperanza, and the horse of Chris Munters that won on the Friday night meeting at the Gold Coast. So they won by a fair way. It'll be up there on speed. So I think they're 2 worthy adversaries. I do think there's a couple of Sydney horses there of Chris Waller's, but I think the Queensland horses hold the most of the cards here, in my opinion. And I can't see why off that low draw, which we speak of again, like similar to Moulin Miss, she should just jump and get a lovely run right on the back of what looks to be quite a good enough speed. And she's nice and solid and fit for the 1,200 at the farm. So I'd be shocked she's not running top 3. I think she's a really good top 3 chance. And I wouldn't be reading into the fact that I've taken her to Toowoomba for her last 2 runs. where I think ability-wise is. I've always thought this is where her grade's at.
The next race we'll preview, it is race 6, it's the open handicap over 1,200 metres. We'll have About to Explode in this race. We'll carry 54 kilos with Ben Thompson on board and jump from barrier 9. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $3.90 for the win, $1.70 for the place. He won 2 starts ago at this track and trip in lesser grade. Finished strongly last start for second in Class 6. Also at this track and trip, we know he loves Eagle Farm and gets in with a really nice lightweight with Benny on board. How do you think it sets up for him on Saturday?
Well, it should set up a lot different to the other day. Obviously, when Restonica won the other day, we just got to trot and canter in front. There's pressure here. He's drawn wider this time. Restonica drawn the outside. Oroboris is underneath him, which wants to go flat out. You got On Point, wants to roll up on speed. So I think there's a lot more speed in this race. We sort of settle mid to back. Benny knows him well. We want that pressure on. They want to sneak up and get to the outside and run on. So I like the fact we've gone, up in grade, down in weight with him. We carried 60 kilos, I think, the other day. So we get down 6 kilos in weight, which is a massive, massive change for a horse like this. He's not a big horse. So my plan was to go up in grade to come down in weight like this, and I think it's worked out well. I think he's well placed. His racing pattern, obviously, to off them wider draws to get, sort of back that little bit and run on, always makes him a little bit susceptible to tempo. But there looks plenty in this. Looks enough, and with enough speed on, he's the horse to beat.
We'll move on to race 7. It is a Mick Dittman Plate for 3-year-olds over 1,000 metres. We won this race back in 2017 with Tia Trelawney, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This year's edition will have up to 3 runners. The first of those we'll preview is Impervious. We'll carry 55 kilos. Angela Jones on board and drawn barrier 7. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $23 for the win and $4.80 for the place. She's first up for her winter preparation. She won 2 city races early as a 3-year-old. Last prep, she was really impressive in a trial a fortnight ago. How do you think it sets up for her?
I think she's going well. She's certainly way over the odds. These 2 fillies, the main 2 that didn't get runs are way over the odds, in my opinion. They're really zoned in on the Sydney side this year, which is pretty typical when the carnival gets here. The market reacts to that Sydney form, which is obviously very strong. But I think this filly will run really well. She'll jump well. She'll roll into a forward position. She's quite quick and look, she's there to race really well. This Mick Dittman's always quite a strong race now. It leads into the Gold Coast Guineas in a fortnight's time, so it's a decent race. It's got a good bit of depth to it. But I'd be shocked if she's not competitive.
The next runner we'll preview is La Bella Boom. We'll carry 55 kilos. Emily Lang on board and drawn barrier 12. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $51 for the win, $8 for the place. She's second up for her preparation after a long break. She was slow out first up and had all the work to do. She finished off really well for a midfield finish. Certainly improved second up here, but it is a sticky draw from out there.
Yeah, it is a sticky draw. I'm just really not sure where we get in. From that draw, because you got it, typical 1,000-metre race up here, got a lot of speed. Geez, they're going to go quick. So the barrier does make it tricky. She's big odds in the market. However, we thought she'd race well first up, and she bungled the start, which is very unusual for her. Her work since has been great. Let's got to look at what sort of run we think we can get. She is big odds here, so we'll see what sort of run we think we can get here. This is a decent race.
And possibly the third runner we'll just touch on is Spirit of Barty. She's a third emergency here. We'll carry 55 kilos and drawn barrier 9 if she does get a run. She's unlikely to, she is $26 for the win and $5.50 for the place with Ladbrokes. Would be first up for this. She's going well at home, but probably won't be able to get into the field here for her.
Yeah, I doubt it. Look, I think she's beautifully placed at Gatton on Sunday. There's a nice cutest race there for her, which would be ideal. This is a very, very deep race, and she's drawn quite awkward too.
Out of La Bella Boom and Impervious, can you split them? Or they're both
Impervious because of the barrier. I think the barrier is better for her. She could be one for exotics, Impervious for sure.
The next race we'll preview, it is race 9. It is the listed Brisbane Handicap over 1,600 metres. We've been lucky enough to win this race 3 of the last 10 editions with Traviston Girl, Coldstone, and last year with our friend here, Tenzing. So this year's edition will have up to 5 runners. The first of those we'll preview is Antino. We'll carry 61 kilos. Ben Thompson on board and jump from barrier 3. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $7 for the win, $2.60 for the place. We had a change of plans after the All-Star Mile earlier this year. Bring him home for the winter. Had a nice pipe opener trial at Deegan last week. Carries the weight, but he certainly earned that in this field.
Absolutely. I knew we were going to get the weight when in a handicap, but it's an ideal, start to for his winter prep here. He only had like a short little let up just to get over the travel back from Melbourne and back in here. He's trial great at Deagon. I think barrier 3 is fine for him with Ben. I think he'll step better, try and hold some sort of a spot early just to travel where he can off fence. As long as we can get outside horses and get a nice enough fluent run, we can build into the race as we see fit, and that's how we'll ride him. We'll ride him to his absolute strengths. He's very fit, very ready. He needs a good solid run here to be ready for the Hollandale and the Doomben Cup over the next month. So everything I'm seeing with him, we'll see a good bit of the Antino of old. He's obviously got to give away a lot of weight. That will change his next 2 races. But we're out there to ride him to his pattern.
The next runner we'll preview, it is our friend behind us here today, is Tenzing. Will carry 53 kilos. Damien Thornton on board and jump from barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $21 for the win, $5.50 for the place. As mentioned earlier, he did win this race last year on a soft 7. He is second up for his campaign, and he has a really good second up record. He was solid first up over 13.50 and will appreciate getting up to a mile here.
Loves the mile. Any showers about on the day will help him. I think cutting the ground's his friend, but he's going good. His first up run was great. He just peaked late. Since then he's improved really nicely, this horse. And this time last year when we got to this race, he's very friendly. Last year we got to this race, he was right deep into a prep. This year we're getting there second up, much fresher in the legs, and I think he's in for a really good winter carnival, this horse. If we can get a few softer tracks throughout the carnival, he can race really, really well. He's in great order.
You can see he's up and about, that's for sure.
He's in great shape, and these low draws are just worth lengths to him.
The next runner we'll preview is Lucky Girl. Will carry 53 kilos. Angela Jones on board and drawn barrier 9. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $81 for the win, $14 for the place. Was just a run first up over 13.50. Will certainly improve up to a mile here, a distance she has won at 3 times back in North America. How do you think it sets up for her just with that tricky draw?
Well, I think the mile's important to her. I don't know how much more she had left the other day. She ran out of room and then Ryan just sat up on her and let her walk up to the line. But her trials and jump outs and track work's been really good. So she's fit and held well. She's had a good bit of time off and obviously since America to here. And I just want to see the desire still there for her on Saturday. So hopefully she can race well and show that she's got that desire to still want to win races.
The next runner we'll preview, it is Rising Pacific. Will carry 53 kilos. Daniel Moore on board and drawn barrier 5. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $14 for the win, $4 for the place. He's second up for his campaign as well. He's got a really good second up record and loves his track and trip too. Last start he was a super run for 3rd along the fence over 13.50. He'll face a few of the same opposition here, but again, we'll appreciate getting up to a mile.
He will. His run was brilliant first up, really good. Low draws yet again, perfect for him. Good grounds, his friend, as opposed to this bloke who loves a bit of cut in the track. Rising Pacific really loves those good grounds. So low draw, he gets a lovely run, nice light weight. He'll sprint well out to the mile second up. He's in good shape. Very playful, this horse.
The last runner we'll preview is Kronenbourg. Will carry 53 kilos with Emily Lang on board and drawn barrier 17. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $101 for the win, $17 for the place. Was a messy race for him first up from wide and back. Should certainly improve second up out to the mile. We'll put the blinkers on and the tongue tie as well. Certainly been working well here at home in them. How do you think it sets up for him?
Well, he's got to improve. Yes. He's a roll forward horse, but where his rating's at, you have very few options for these horses. Blinkers tongue tie, look, I've just tried to vary it up a bit. His work's been great in him. He's an older horse and sometimes just changing things around a bit does a trick. So it's a bit of a hit and hope with him, I'm not going to lie about that. And he's a nice roll forward from his draw. So it looks as though he get outside lead fairly comfortably. The horse is drawn 2 under him, I think, looks the leader.
Speed, yep.
Yeah, we should sit outside that speed. So I think he gets a lovely run for his pattern. Just a matter whether he's still the horse he was.
Now, Tony, we are into the final furlong of the Final Gallop. Tony, who's your best winning chance at Eagle Farm on Saturday?
Yeah, we've got a lot of good chances on the day. I think About to Explode. I think I'll go with him. I tossed up between him and Daggers.
Yes.
I think they both map well on the back of races. They should run a good bit of speed. So I'm going to go with About to Explode. I've been off his last run, dying to see him down in the weights. At Eagle Farm's his favourite track. He seems to be still spot on in his prep. So I'll go with him.
Beautiful. And each way chance, best each way chance for the weekend. Certainly got plenty there at good value. Antino, yep.
Antino, for sure.
And then
it could be you. Could be Tenzing.
Could be
Could be him for Savagery. He's up and about.
And with the big ANZAC Day race day, there's plenty at provincials. We'll have possibly runners at the Sunny Coast, Bow Desert and Toowoomba, and possibly Gatton on Sunday as well. Anything for the punters to follow there at the provincials?
I think Spirit of Barty really hard to beat if she goes to Gatton. Seeker was just narrowly beaten at Gatton the other day. She's going to be accepted in 3 locations.
Wherever she goes.
I think she's pretty hard to beat in whatever the right maiden is for her. And Esprit de Jeu, she is busting to win a race. If she can draw low at Bow Desert, surely she gets her day.
And just on Tuesday morning, obviously always a big day, big morning of track work. We had a few out in the course proper as well. Anything that caught your eye at track work there on Tuesday?
Well, all these horses were great in the course proper. I thought Antino, him and Victoria Road, horse the Kieran's is here, galloped together. I thought they were the work of the morning by far. And his recovery spot on. So he was a star on my show on the course propers. The trials, great to see Zarastro back doing what Zarastro does. Transatlantic's trialling like Transatlantic does. He's ready for his prep. There was a couple of nice 2-year-olds there, trialled really well. So the 2-year-old team is sort of starting to take a bit of shape too. And this is going to be one hell of a strong winter carnival. So hopefully some of our 2-year-olds can play their part.
Sounds good. And now it is time to head over to Cab's Corner for this week, proudly supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. It was the old 1 out of 2 legs last week with Spanish Treasurer Place. Unfortunately, balanced the books. Couldn't get the job done for him. So let's see what formula he's gone for this week. So let's head over to Cab's Corner and see what his multi is for this week.
Welcome to Cab's Corner. Saturday we travel to Eagle Farm. I'm going to go early on Saturday. I'm going to go in the first race. Savagery Vibes a win. Into the second race, Daggers a win. Good punting, guys. And before I go, the Lord, Tony Gollan, he was at the Michael Jackson musical last night. I'm just waiting to see if he does any moonwalking on the show this morning. Cheers.
So Tony, he has gone Savagery Vibe into Daggers, a win-win multi. So nice and early, and he's gone the win-win. So.
Yeah, well, we got really good chances in these early restricted races. Obviously the stakes races start to come on in the card on Saturday. These races really heat up. So I do like his model. I think followers pretty early in the meeting. If we don't strike early, it could be a bloody long day.
So Tony, good luck on the weekend at Eagle Farm, as well as all the provincial meetings. A really good day, and a good day for the whole country as well, ANZAC Day. So it should be a really good commemorative day. Hopefully we can snag a couple of winners.
Hopefully I can get out of this segment without getting my arm bitten here because he wants to really play. It should be a great weekend. I want to first of all congratulate my niece, Bless, Zoe's daughter. Made these strange stingers, water polo. We put a thing on about her about a year ago, I think, trying to help support her on her journey, and it's working out well. She's made these strange things. That's the
incredible
A-grade women's team to go to the World Cup. She's only 17 in year 12. We're obviously very proud of her, and I hope she does very well over there. I'm sure she will, and the whole Stingers team. So best of luck. They fly off to the Netherlands today.
Incredible.
Best of luck to Blessy and the whole team. So well done to her and everyone on the weekend. ANZAC Day, special weekend on the calendar. Obviously these things are very relevant at the moment with what's going on in the world, and we can all pay our respects to our diggers past and present. So everyone enjoy their ANZAC Day weekend, pay our respects, and hopefully we can steer you into some winners.
Sounds good. Good luck, punters. Cheers.